views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody. Super welcome. It's so great to be connecting with all of you, those of you that were listening for the last hour. Hey, welcome back. We got a great show for you. Oh, my gosh. We were talking about this earlier in the last show about the, astrology, about what is happening planetarily. What is the influence that most of us can find out about? And how does it affect us individually? I mean, for those of you tuning in, you didn't know that we were going to talk with Jen Kosh about how your astrology chart holds the keys to your personal love revolution. And today we're going to talk about that. But before I do, hello, B.
Hey, Pat, how you doing?
B?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, B. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was admiring our guest taking a sip there. She was laughing. She got, I didn't mean to
taking a sip.
It was adorable.
A little bit of water.
It was a little adorable. We're getting ready for today. I got you. Yep.
Yeah, boy, that's what we're loving about this show today. For those of you out there, let me tell you about Jen for a minute. Intuitive astrologer, teacher, life coach, writer, speaker. And what she's been doing is opening up the door, creating the space for folks to step in. And when you step into that space, what are you saying yes to? Well, you're saying yes to a journey. That's number one. You're saying yes to finding some insight, some guidance, some clarity. That's next. And then you're looking at, well, wait a minute, now that I've got that, where do I go? How do I step into what she calls a unique life plan? And it talks about the types of love relationships, how they came to be, what all of this means. So working with people creates the love map. The love map. That's but right. Here's what you should know. A lot of times we don't think that we are key players in our relationships. We think it is you. You're the one. You're the one that's doing it. You forgot the flowers. Guess what? It's a bigger you. It's like the we of things. Jen, great to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, I love what you were just saying there. That's a delightful. Yeah, hey, you got more. There's more going on here than I. Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. But you know what I'm talking about when we're talking about love and we're talking about relationships. I worked with a woman, Mary Louise Smith. She was one of the greatest mentors I ever had. I don't think she ever got up from her chair. And this is back in the day when you could sit there and drink coffee and smoke in the office. Remember that? Oh, no, you're too young. But Mary Louise, you walk into the room, right? And I'd be walking in all wounded and, get ready. Let me tell you what those guys did. And she would hold up her hand and just barely look up and say, now listen, before you open your mouth, what part of the problem were you? Yes. And I'm like, but let me explain. Jen, let me explain. But I want to explain. Now, you help people understand the multiple nature of things, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. And I love the way you started this call. And, you're talking about, let's talk about the birth chart. So, your birth chart. Now, you've had your astrology chart done before. That's correct, right?
I had it done, and I've had it done by a woman that I don't go to any longer. But I haven't had it done in years. So I know what my birth chart looks like. And by the way, let me tell you what she said. She basically said, I'm just going to tell you out front, and she's a Sagittarian, so brace yourself. I'm going to tell you out front, your birth chart, pretty boring. Not a whole lot here. And then she said to me, but let's talk about your future.
Well, I was going to say, so the love map is this astrological birth chart that I created. And it's based on this idea that I would say almost the exact opposite. With all due respect, is like what was going on in the skies at the moment that you took your first breath. And so, if we looked at that, at your astrological snapshot, you would see, most of the times people, when they think about astrology, they think about the sun sign. And, my son's in Sagittarius, your son's in Sagittarius, my son's in Libra. And it's like, what does that all mean? But it's that there's so much more depth to the birth chart when you look at the moon and the Mercury and Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, all those outer planets and other celestial aspects that all hold, the key pieces of information, into our individual psyches, into our past lives, into our intentions for being here. So I think it's, we love looking at pictures. We love looking at, seeing where we came from. So I would say, yeah, it's absolutely.
So let me ask you this, because the body of work that you do is so important. It's so cool, the way that you approach astrology and really the intuitive nature of it and how you go about it. Let's talk a little bit before we talk about my chart, because I'm interested in hearing what you found. I mean, I don't pay attention to my birth chart because of what was said to me, but you've discovered a way to lay out this beautiful blueprint, this map for people. And a lot of times when we're talking with folks about astrology, they don't get that picture. They don't get the big picture and then the individual pieces. How did you come to do that?
Oh, I had an aunt who came to visit, our family when I was 10 years old, and her son is in Libra, and she was delighted by that. And she had a book, and she left it around, and I read, because I'm Sun in Libra, and I could not believe how true there were certain lines in there that absolutely, even at 10 and 11 years old, I knew that I loved relationship. Libra is the archetype of relationship. I loved peace. Like I really avoided conflict at all times, and beauty, and it was this whole idea of being a lover. I just loved it. And just something resonated. It just dropped in for me. And while I was growing up, in my high school years and then in my 20s and 30s, I really used astrology to, just personally, just to be able to see the relationships in my life, the key relationships. And it wasn't until my mid-30s, and I was doing people's charts just kind of for fun, like just looking at, mostly the sun sign, to be honest. And then there's something, I listened to an interview with a shamanic astrologer down in Arizona called Daniel Giamario. And he started speaking about these other aspects of a chart and how that if you looked at the archetypes of each sign, and if you looked at these different planets and what they represented, all that these dynamic living forms of energy were here to inform us about, where we came from and what we came here to do. And I was just like, I need to create my version of this. And so that's what I did, is I divided up the love map. To me is a love story. And I divided it up into 6 chapters, starting off with your past lives. And the intuitive piece is when we have the conversation, when, I hear about your life experience, because it's not like your son is in Sagittarius and, you are the type of the wanderer and the, the teacher. It's not just about that. You've had life experiences that would inform those archetypes. And so we would get a more complete picture of, who you are, and what your astrologer had said in the past is like who you came here to be. That is the exciting part. But the intuitive piece is to be able to connect into those archetypes and see, for me, it's images I get, or being able to hear like the questions that people need to hear in order to activate a certain archetype that maybe they need in this lifetime for relationship, for their career, for their well-being. And so I ask the questions that will help clarify why certain experiences have happened, and based on the information I see in the chart. So,
well, it's interesting because, when I start to talk about it, and I don't have a good sense of how to talk about it. So I know enough to know that I got a bunch of planets up there in the right. You
sure do.
They're like hang out. They're all like hanging up there. And people say to me, well, okay, did you know that Saturn just moved out of Sagittarius into Capricorn? And, what was that like for you? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What was that like?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
Absolutely. And that's a great distinction to make, because there is a birth chart, which is what I'm talking about. It's that snapshot. So a certain day at a certain time in a certain place, this is your map. This is the map for your life with all these themes and these experiences that you said, you'd like to have the container of these experiences. But then what people like that are talking about is they're talking about your progress chart, because as we move, throughout we're not the same as we were, when we were born. It's like the sun it was in Sagittarius when you were born. Well, a month later, or however long later, moving into Capricorn. And so what happens is that as these planets revolve around the sun, they create angular relationships with, these other planets, and they activate certain archetypes in our chart. They activate certain learning experiences that we're going to have. And so when you were talking at the beginning of the show about all this, or actually I think it was off the show that we were talking about it, how there's all this Capricorn energy going on. That's to do with a progressed chart. That's what's going on with the celestial, like the bigger picture, the collective. And we are moving into this time right now where there's a real call for community, a real call for a balance and power and grounding and planting our seeds for, this new vision that we have. And so, so that's happening right now. But your birth chart will, there is in relationship to the collective as well. It's not just, the progress chart trumps everything. It's like there is the birth chart that has incredible keys for what it is that you came here to do. And you're just going to, it's not linear. It's like, it's more of a, what's the word? It's what you're going to learn your experiences.
Organic.
It's organic.
It's organic. Because I want to talk with you when we come back from break, because my friends are like, what are you doing? We are all like retiring. And I'm like, oh, you just didn't say that R word to me. What is that? What does that mean? Like, what is that? Do you sit and watch MSNBC all day, or like, what are you going to do with that? Or if maybe it's Fox News, I don't know. But I don't really quite understand the concept, and they don't understand why I don't understand the concept. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Jen's going to take us on a journey as to what she discovered along the way to doing this incredible work that she does in the world. And then perhaps we're going to be opening up some phone lines. Mr. Benny will figure out exactly what you need to get. Let's take a short break, everyone. Are you interested in knowing what this map, this relationship map, what is it all about? Well, what if it were about love? Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet, welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
What is a brilliant culture, and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you align your culture with your business strategy for exceptional results. Looking for a culture that drives organizational excellence? Listen to Cultural Brilliance Radio, the second and fourth Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit culturalbrilliance.com.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spirit Fire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spiritfire. For more information, visit spiritfireretreatcenter.com.
Do you ever feel as if you're working twice as hard but only getting half as far? Are you trying to connect with your path in life and finding it elusive? Mainstream Metaphysics Radio is a weekly call-in show where we harness our connection with the universe and use what is in our power to affect change for optimal success and happiness. This hit show bridges the divide between what is and what we do not know. Eve, named one of the country's top psychics, also known as the MBA psychic, invites you on this journey for this live call-in show with readings, featured guests, leaders, and visionaries in both business and spiritual callings. So join Eve Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com as she takes metaphysics mainstream. For more information about Eve, visit EliteTarot.com. That's EliteTarot.com.
Best-selling author, spiritual life, and business coach Joe Nunziata brings his higher energy and no-nonsense style to people who are ready to make powerful changes now. Wake up, step up, power up with a shot of Joe. Join Joe the second and fourth Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern for 30 minutes of high energy, no nonsense, and powerful tools to make powerful changes. Visit joenuns.com. That's JOENUNZ.com.
Oh, boy, everybody. We are going to be taking calls today in the show. I'm not quite sure, Benny, what we're going to need. Jen, what do you need? Birth date, place of birth? What do you need?
It would be great if they knew even just the basics right away, because I'd have to put it into a computer file, right? So if they knew we're going to talk about the moon. And we're going to talk about the rising sign. And if people know about that, and if they don't, just call in and ask, and and just drop in and see what they need to hear right now. So but the moon sign and the rising sign would be a delight.
That's good. I love that.
And they can go on astro.com. There's a website that you could just type in your information, and it'll show you a chart that will give you, your sun, your moon, your rising sign, or your ascendant and all that good stuff. So.
All right. So listen, this is what we're doing today with Jen. And before we jump ahead, first of all, I need to know how people can, find out more about you, how they can either get a copy of your book, how they could schedule time with you, all of the above. What's the best way for people to do that?
Absolutely. They have jenkosh.com, JENN Kosh, KOSH.com is my website. And there's one of the, the offers I'd love to, give to your audience today is I wrote a little lunar love book, I call it, A Year of Lunar Love. And it's how people can work with the information that they have in their chart, with the way that, with what's going on in their lives, whether it's, their need to release something or they're wanting to set new intentions. One of the biggest things that really transformed my life early on, when I didn't really have very many tools, was to work with the cycles of the moon. And so I wrote like I said, it's a 30-page, 27-page PDF, book. You can get it. It's really easy. Just sign up on my email list, and I'll send that to you over shortly. And it just gives you times of the new moon and the full moon, and what you would do on the new moon, what would you do on the full moon, and why would that even be important?
Right. I love this. Okay. So you got to take a little sneak peek at my chart. We're going to kind of use me as a little guinea pig if we could. I don't even know where we get that phrase from. I like guinea pigs. I mean, that's just a horrible thing to say. But you know what I'm saying.
I sure do.
Let's talk about this, because I don't really look at myself as relationship much of anything. And I think that's because I hold maybe a very strange idea of what that means. But I love our listeners, and I really have this relationship, I believe, with our listeners, even though there are thousands all over the world and I haven't met them face to face. So it's kind of interesting to find out how the chart helps. I'm also a super introvert. So when I do go out in public and I don't talk, people think there's something wrong with me. So let us begin by taking a look at what you do so well, different parts of the chart, what you found out. And, people say that I should be a little schizophrenic because of the Sagittarius Capricorn thing, but I don't feel that way.
No, not at all. And I mean, and it's, again, there's so many different elements to a person's chart, but we're going to talk about two. We're going to try to get into two here. So right. Like, just let me refresh. When we say that somebody's a sun in Libra or a sun in Capricorn, you're barely scratching the surface about who someone is and what they came here to do. And so to say that you're just, you're Sagittarius and Capricorn, sure, that's just a little bit about you, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to start off by looking at what the moon represents. And so we didn't come into this lifetime, into this incarnation as a blank piece of paper without a backstory. So the moon represents your past life learning and what types of experiences you've had with relationship in the past. And so your moon was or is in Capricorn in the ninth house. And the ninth house is a Sagittarius house. And what makes that interesting is you come in with a real relationship mastery with that energy, with being the archetype of the leader and the parent, the father figure, the person who really pushes community forward. And so you would have had experiences where you were learning about the truth of relationship, the truth of leading a community. And so, you can see where, you said that really clearly, like 2 minutes ago, about how the way that you look at relationship is maybe different than most people look at. Well, you have to, because you were the archetype of a leader, so whatever role you played, in whether you were, the leader of a household, the leader of a business, the leader of a tribe, it wouldn't have mattered. You would have had this energy I need to develop myself so that I can help my people. And I'm going to do this. Yeah. And you feel that way now, right?
Yeah, I do. And people say that okay, this is gonna be helpful. I'm gonna have to send this to my friends. They say that I'm continually learning and working on myself, and this is their reason, because I never feel good enough. But I don't feel that way. Is that true?
Well, yeah. So you know yourself best. And I would say what happens is because the moon, so we come into this lifetime and our moon represents that past life learning, that past life history that we've had. And if you don't believe in reincarnation, it's this lifetime, right? It's your earlier, your childhood, would have created these imprints in your psyche and, in your evolution as a soul. And so what happens though with the moon is that you become so good at what you're doing, you might take into this lifetime too much of what that experience was. You're not moving into the new intention for your soul growth. But what you just said was so interesting, because you said people perceive that you don't feel good enough, which is why you learn so much. Well, there's another aspect and I wasn't planning on talking about it, but because it came up, this is where we're going to go.
Sorry about that.
No, I love it. It's like, no, because this is the whole part of why you want to have a conversation about your chart, because it comes alive in the conversation and in what needs to be heard, and what needs to be addressed in the moment. And so there's another aspect when I do the love map, I put it in chapter 1 and it's called the South Node. Now the South Node isn't a planet. It's a point between the moon and the sun and the earth. And we don't need to get into a lot of detail about that. But the South Node is kind of where you, for the lack of a better word, maybe tripped up, or maybe you got over-identified with your moon training. And so if you were really about pushing your community forward, you were really about like leadership, and it's like, I've got to do it for the family, I've got to do it for my tribe, Virgo would have caused that in you, because Virgo is the archetype of the perfectionist. It's the archetype of the critic. And so there's this and I'm writing about this actually. I do a blog called Lunar Love Notes on the new moon and the full moon. And the full moon in Virgo is coming up this week. And so I've been writing about it, really immersed in this energy. And it's like Virgo energy, which is what you were really dealing with in these past lives, would have caused you to feel like you were never doing enough. But really what it was is that you were being called to do was to really serve your people in a sacred way. It's like to look at your work as being sacred. And your Virgo's in the 5th house, and houses are so you've got your planets and you've got your signs, and the signs, the zodiac signs like Cancer and Capricorn, they tell you about the themes, about the archetypes. The houses are really where your life unfolds. It's the stage. And so yours was meant to be done in joy, and meant to, really creative self-expression, to really just be able to have fun while you're doing it. but you kind of got caught up in the service piece and not being enough. But that was your past.
Yeah.
Okay. That was your past. So you would have come in, and that's what you're doing as a soul, is you're learning to release this idea of I'm not enough. And so maybe what people are picking up on when they say that about you is something within themselves, or something maybe they did know about you. If you shared past lives together, they're just picking up something. And it's a good question to ask too, is to ask, and that's what I use the full moon and the new moon for, is to take those reflection times. And it's like, okay, spirit, source, whatever you're going to call your higher, your connection to a higher power, is show me where I feel like I'm not doing enough, because maybe there is a piece in there where you're needing to add more joy in there, or like amplify your joy. And it's not saying that you're not, but you're in a leadership position. So you've been doing this radio show and, all these other incredible work that you've done. And so all you're doing is you're refining. It's not like you've totally failed and, I just don't feel good enough. So anyway, so that's where we could talk about. I always say to my clients when I do a love map session, is I could talk about your past lives all day long. So I'll stop there, but does that make sense? Does that resonate on any level?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I know that at some point in time, part of that dialogue is correct, where I didn't feel like having a high school education was going to get me to where I wanted to go. So I moved towards things, but that was secondary to having a really good time when I was in my 20s and 30s. I mean, there was no way I was going to go to night school. I had to wait for that. And the only time I went to night school is when I was threatened not to get a promotion on my job, right?
Right.
And I started at an entry level pushing a mail cart for $61 a week. But now I think I'm kind of like that. I mean, I'm not looking for, I did the money thing. I did the work hard for money thing and did it really well. And not really love what I do. Today, I'm in a whole different space. I'm really on a mission. I'm on a mission to create a better world. And I'm not alone. I got a great team of people and, the audience, the people that are following us. And, some days it's being on the mission and being very clear about a specific thing. Other days it's bigger. It's like I created a video game to educate people about Lyme disease and, all these cool characters. And we're getting ready to launch crowdfunding to educate, people about how can you prevent, quote, a disease in a fun way? How can we educate children, right? Rather than scold them or yell at them, how can we make it fun and have these characters and games to do it? And, most of the time people don't really ask me. And other times, every once in a while, somebody said, man, you're never going to grow up. And I'm like, okay. Okay, Jen.
But that's so perfectly, describes what your intention is, because what happens here is that, your past life intention is that you've learned to actually find the medicine for maybe some of that hurt, feeling that you weren't enough in those past lifetimes. And that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. And that's what the information does. So, so I love it. You've totally taken your moon and the information there, and you've created, and that's the thing, is you've created what it is that you needed to be able to address, like you came here for this. You came here to release that, that not enoughness. So what I was going to say though too is that what I love about, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but I have to with you, because your moon in Capricorn in the 9th house, that's your past life. Your training, right? And so so when I look at what you've come here to evolve into, like the next step for you as a soul, is you actually weren't complete. Like sometimes I'll see somebody's chart and their moon is very different than the rest of their evolutionary intention for this lifetime. So it's like, I'm complete with that Capricorn, training to a degree, right? Like I'm complete. I'm going to look at something else. I'm going to look at what other archetypal, lessons I've come here to embody, but you are still sticking with it. It's like, you're like, okay, it's like your Mars is the planet of like how you're moving in this world. And your Mars is in Capricorn in the 9th house. And so it's the exact same setup. It's like, I'm going to move in this world. I'm going to learn what I, did from that lifetime. I'm going to take what I learned and I'm going to implement it. I'm going to do it in a different way. And so, and what it is that you really, I'm looking at your Venus right now, and your Venus is in Sagittarius in the 8th house, which is a Scorpio house. And you're like, I'm going to learn about the truth about this. I'm going to learn about if that's true with, like what you said, what your friends would say about you, but like you don't feel not enough. I'm going to question that. I'm going to go deep with this. And so, you're in service. That's what Capricorn does. Capricorn is leads and pushes the community forward in a really beautiful way that is a legacy type life, right? Like a legacy type life that will affect generations to come because of what you did, not only with the physical things that you've created, but also energetically, what you've imprinted on this planet and what you've allowed other people to open up to. So anyway,
I got to tell you, we're going to go to the phone lines too. I never saw this coming. Grew up in the Bronx, rough life, homeless at 17, mother committed suicide when I was 6. I never saw being here, doing what I love, creating this thing called positive talk. I did not see that coming. Right. And I had something not so good happen to me after, 24 years in the company. And then I knew what to do. I went back to school and I didn't have a map. I didn't have a blueprint. I just followed my heart. And I still do that today. I think my greatest enemy is somebody said that we have there are 2 challenges in life: belief and doubt. And for every challenges there are 2 choices: belief and doubt. And when I am at that place of absolute trust in the universe and everything I do, I'm like floating. But I'm so vulnerable to doubt. And I wonder, I wonder what that's, I don't know where that is in my chart. I generally move beyond it. But if somebody said to me, what would be the one thing, Pat, you'd want to change in your life? And my answer is unequivocally, removing doubt.
Okay. I got goosebumps when you spoke about that because, we haven't talked about this yet. And again, I love how this is going because I wasn't planning on talking about this, but
sorry.
And I love it because this is what happens, right? When we're looking at the chart, it comes alive. And so your moon's in Capricorn, you're caught up, right, in this this community building. And your past life is like, oh, I'm not doing enough, right? There's doubt. I have doubt in what I'm doing. Yeah. And so what happens is what so cleverly and so beautifully that you and your, celestial team decided before you were born is that I'm my Venus, which is actually was the gift that I was given as far as taking the focus off of the sun and looking at other parts of the chart, was to look for a woman is to look at the Venus, because the Venus is your new evolutionary intention. And it's in Sagittarius in the 8th house. And Sagittarius is the archetype of faith. And, you're looking for truth. And so that's what you did as a beautiful remedy to this, this hurt, this like woundedness that you would have had, this karma, some people would call it, that was created by not thinking that you were doing a good enough job. And so I love it. I really feel like you've got some good friends where maybe at first it seems like they're thinking it's not enough, but maybe it's just about to maybe going in, on this full moon coming up this Thursday that's in Virgo. And it's like, okay, let's release it. Like, even if you're not conscious of it. And I tell people about that. What I love about archetypal astrology is that, 80 to 95%, we don't even understand why we're thinking what we're thinking, or, why we're feeling the way we're feeling. And that's on a good day, like 80 to 95%. It's usually higher to 95%. But when you start peeling back these layers, and the birth chart is one tool to be able to do that, you're like, you start asking questions about, well, what is true for you? And so, what I would do on a new moon, say, for example, and you can do this anytime, I just use the moons as focal points, is whatever, way that you would do this is ask, it's like, okay, I'm here for radical faith. Like, I want radical faith in what I'm doing and in myself. And, and go deep with that, because it's in the 8th house. And you will go deep with it because that's the nature of who you are.
Yeah.
But it's to ask, it's like, I want perfect faith. I want whole faith. I want like this faith that's going to allow me to continue on with doing the great love work that I've come here to do in this lifetime.
I love it. Yeah, this is exciting. And we've got some folks wanting to talk with you. We're going to skip the break. Jen Kosh, everybody. Listen, this is super, super cool. Why don't we go to the phones now, Mr. Benny? Who might we have?
Well, first of all, does Jen need the information? I wanted to double check before we give it out on the air publicly.
Yeah, what I would love to do is, like, just because I don't have the site up, is to be able to hear, like, I see that there's somebody on here who's a Taurus sun, but it doesn't give me the information about what her moon might be, so, or what her rising sign is. I don't have that information. So
all right, why don't we go to break, and then maybe we can get some information during the break and then come back and kick it up. Hey, everybody, Jen Kosh joining us here today. We are taking your calls. Boy, this is great. We're going to get some super information. 1-800-930-2819. And when we come back, I'm going to let you know more about Jen, how you can schedule time with her, and what do you think your relationship map says, everybody. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Defining success and putting minds to work. With the Higher Learners Career and Leadership Series, Rudy Racine will help you craft your personal definition of success, offering support and guidance as you move forward towards your goals. Take the leap. With the right mix of focus and motivation, anything can be achieved. Tune in every first and third Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 Eastern, and for more information on Rudy Racine and Higher Learners, visit Rudy's site at higherlearners.com. That's HIRE learners.com.
The Truth is Funny. Shift Happens with Colette Marie Steffen is excited to welcome Karen Benton as a monthly guest host. Tune in on the third Wednesday of each month at 8 a.m. Pacific time to regain confidence and trust in your capacity to create change in your life, your health, your family, and your well-being. Karen Benton is a mother, nurse practitioner, certified body talk practitioner, Franklin Method instructor, and owner of Limitless Living LLC. For more information about Karen, visit KarenBenton.com.
To find answers to life's questions, you need to look within yourself. Dr. Glenna Rice brings your questionable conversations on Transformation Talk Radio each month. Tune in each month for insight into how you can live up to your full potential. Dr. Glenna is a physical therapist, certified Access Consciousness, and Access Body Class facilitator. How does it get any better than this? For more information on Dr. Glenna Rice and her work, visit glennarice.com.
Are you ready to make deep, lasting, transformative changes? Then tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio for Susanna Jameson's hit show, Love, Light, Sound Radio. During her show, Susanna inspires and supports spiritually and health-conscious individuals all over the world to reconnect with their hearts, their inner peace, and balance. Love, Light, Sound Radio. Transformation happens here now. For more information, visit SusannaJameson.com.
To see your life from an angel's perspective, book a personal consultation with Claire Candy Huff, angelic walk-in angel Ariel at Angel Healing House. Candy provides intuitive counseling, Reiki, and angel readings in person in Los Angeles or nationally and internationally via phone or Skype. She will channel the practical tools you need to transform your life. Call now, 831-277-3716, or visit angelhealinghouse.com.
Who's ready to shine in 2018? Hi, I'm Wendy Rose Williams, certified spiritual teacher, past life regressionist, Reiki master, author, and radio host. Want to bring your unique message on air with me as part of the Transformation Talk Radio Network and Soul Wisdom Radio platform? Call 425-502-0362 or visit wendyrosewilliams.com to learn how you can expand your reach by sponsoring or advertising with Soul Wisdom Radio.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. So great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. I'm Dr. Pat. Jen Kosh joining us here today. We're going to go right to the phones. But before we do, Jen, I would love for you to let folks know, again, how they can find out more about you, but also what it is that, they could sign up for your newsletter, all of the above. And cool things will happen.
That's right. So if you go to jenkosh.com, and that's 2 N's in the name of Jen, there's an email list. If you sign up, that we were just talking about this, is that, I'd love to offer too, and I've been doing it for 2 years, is once you're on my email list, is I do a draw at least once a month. It's once a month for sure, for a free, like a complimentary session. So to be able to go do that, the blog called Lunar Love Notes, which talks about these archetypes. So even if you knew your sun was in, say, Virgo, and you're reading the Lunar Love Note this week that I'll publish, which is on Virgo, is you'll start to get a sense of, even though it's about the moon I'm writing about, you'll see that the archetypes in the sun sign or in your Venus or whatever could be applied to your chart. So it's like definitely, go on over, sign up there. And 2, as well, as there's that, that complimentary book that I'd love to send out to any one of you who signs up. So, yeah.
I love it. All right, everybody. We're going to hear lots more from Jen, but today it's all about you. Mr. B, who do we have?
Yeah, we'll take Colleen calling in from North Seattle. Hello, Colleen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi, Colleen.
Hey there. Yeah. Hey, how can we help you today? Well, I'm going to turn it over to Jen. Go ahead.
Hi. So lovely to speak to you. And I just have to say, this is a brand new, like, I'm a newbie here. You're my first caller on a radio show ever. So I'm
is that right?
I'm so excited. Yeah. So if this resonates with you at all, what I would love to do is to give you a complimentary love map session. So you're my first caller. I have to do it.
Thank you.
So,
I didn't
so don't hang up after this so Benny can get your information. Don't hang up. We'll get some information.
Okay. I didn't quite hear your website when you were giving it. It was Jen something?
It's Jen. It's JENN Kosh, KOSH.com. And it's also linked up to on Dr. Pat's show as well. Okay. So yeah.
All right. So where do we begin? Let the journey begin.
That's right. Well, how can I help you today?
So I'm actually not calling about relationship. I thought that's what you were talking about earlier, but you said something about needing my rising and my moon sign.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I'm seeing that right now. So let me ask you something. You're asking, I'd love to get sort of a sense of what's the information that you're looking for. Because usually when people have a session with me, it's like there's something that's up for them, whether it's relationship or it's, job or career. It doesn't have to be about relationship, but, you and I will do our session together and we can go more deeply into it. But yeah, I definitely see your rising signs, Aries, based on the information that you gave me, and your moon's in Scorpio. So, those intense lovers, you Scorpios. So,
Well, it's interesting because I don't feel like I'm really meant to be in a relationship in this particular life. But so really what's kind of up is career. I'm in a big transition in just about every area of my life. And I'm kind of under the notion that I need to get myself trained more in many different well, maybe not many, but some other areas to be able to shift into what I want to do.
And so you're wondering how the birth chart would show, could give you some clues about
do I have enough to go get going now, or do I really need to get more training? And
let's talk about that during your session, because what will happen is we can take a little tiny look at your progress chart, which is like, kind of what's activated right now. But what I would love to talk to you about is this rising sign of yours, because your rising sign is Aries. And, without knowing anything about you, is that I do know Aries. Aries is that a relationship intention, your ascendant, your rising sign, is that relationship intention with yourself. And so it's the container, that evolutionary archetypal journey that you came to take with yourself. And it's in Aries, and I can see how it's set up. I can see your chart right now, and based on that moon in Scorpio, where you would feel, we were just talking about this on the break, is where you would have felt burned by love. And so it's like this relationship really is about you with yourself, is about you following your joy, is about you, pioneering new ways for you to be in relationship with yourself. And it's not that you don't have relationships with other people or you couldn't have that, but it's that I would say, just based on what I can see right now, is that there's so much that you gave in these past lives for love, is that now you're needing to scale it back and to say, I need to focus on me in this lifetime. And so, you and I, we can have that conversation during our session, which is, if this training that you need comes next. But I have to say, we were talking about Venus and Mars are your planets of, like, Venus is the principal feminine energy you came to embody, and your Mars is the principal masculine energy that you came to embody. Well, both of them are in Taurus, and to me, that you're here to be a master manifester, a master builder. And we can talk about that during your session, but I just want to say, it's like, to get your vision, I'm hearing, is like, what's your vision for the next part of your life right now? Is like, what are the qualities of the type of work that you even want to do? It doesn't necessarily have to do with a specific job that you're going to be doing. It's more to do with, how do you want to feel while you're doing it? It's like, this is about you expressing yourself in, like, the most authentic, truest, sense of the word. It's like your gifts to the world. But it's like, it's to actually create the vision first about what type of experiences you'd like to have in your relationship to work, relationship with other people in that way. I don't know if that makes sense or if that resonates.
Yeah, it does.
It
does. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
My sense is you're on a mission.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you on a mission? Yeah. And it's a new mission. I mean, you've always been quite successful, but there's something going on that is like, and this is not from astrology, this is just my sense. There's something that got you fired up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I can't wait to hear what you're going to talk.
Yeah, it's been happening.
It's been happening. Jen is going to really help you out. I hope you guys will check back and kind of share some of it with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to. Yeah, Colleen. Is it Colleen? Is that how you pronounce your name?
Colleen.
Yeah, please, give your information to Benny, and I'll get a hold of you later on today, and we'll set up a session and see, what your love map reveals for, career coming up.
I love it.
Okay.
All right. We're not going to take a break. We're going to hold on, but don't hang up. Benny's going to chat with you. Benny, who do we have next waiting? I think we can get one more of our fabulous listeners on the show.
Sure. We'll take Jennifer calling in from Seattle as well.
Jennifer.
Oh, hi there. This is Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
I love it.
So, I don't know that my question is specifically about relationships. I've been married to my husband for almost 40 years, and we've raised 6 children. I guess sort of. So, his idea of retirement is pretty much being inseparable. My idea, because I've been consumed with my family, much more independence and kind of doing my own thing. Obviously, we do a lot together. Our whole thing has been the family, and I've got grandkids. But anyway, I've always been interested in metaphysics. I became a licensed massage therapist 10 years ago and gone more into energy healing. But I'm at the point where it's like, now what? I really don't know where to put my own personal energy.
Wow.
Okay, I love this. I'm just putting your information in. I'm sorry. I'm just I'm wanting to get it really accurate, because I love how you said, first of all, that you didn't feel like it was about relationship, and it sounds like part of the relationship intention, like your rising sign and your descendant, which is your relationship to other people, is like we're really looking at its relationship to everything. So yes, your husband's a huge part of that, right? Like, and your family, but it's your relationship to yourself within that relationship. And so I'm sorry, please be patient. I know this is live radio here, but I need to get the information in here so that I can take a look at your rising sign. I'm so curious here. So
yeah. I went through something similar too, because it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I've been like going to the grocery store with my by myself for like a gazillion years, and now it's how do we keep our own identity sometimes when our situation and how we're in relationship with other people changes. And, and I think what you brought up is, I've watched this play out so many times, and people just don't ask the question you're asking. And I think it's really cool you're asking so that you can get some help up front, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's like, really, I can do the laundry. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No, I want to. So yeah. All right, Jen. It's all you, Jen.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm cognizant of the time that's going on, Jennifer, if you're interested, I would love to offer you a complimentary session as well. And I think that it's such an important question, and I'd love to check back with Dr. Pat as well about this idea of, yes, I'm a woman in a relationship with I've got children, and I'm moving towards something that's really about service and about offering my gifts to the world, and let's take a look at that in a deeper way. So if you're if for whatever reason the information it won't allow me to put your information in right now, so I'm just thinking that this is spirit telling me let's just go deeper with this. So if you're willing, let's.
Okay. Of course, yes.
Excellent. So if you could leave your information with Benny as well as how I could get a hold of you later on today, we can do that.
Yeah, we'll get it to you.
Thank you so
because, much. And, I got to really give you a lot of kudos right now for even asking that question and asking it now, because you're going to be able to have a newer understanding and an understanding about how you can be you and be in relationship. Jen, that's what this show is about today.
That you are a pro. That's exactly what the relationship, chart is about. That's exactly what the show is about, is that knowing that you've come here to be a unique expression of yourself within the container of these other relationships that you've chosen to have. And that's being a revolutionary, because you now get to make, with information that you have, is how to speak to your partner, how to move throughout your life, and how to act based on the information that you're becoming aware of. And so, it's like you get to honor, honor all these relationships in your life, but it's starting off with yourself. So I agree. The question the power is in the question.
Yeah, so, thank you so much. And please don't hang up so that Benny can get your information and that you'll connect with Jen directly. Thank you for calling in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah. I told you we had the best listeners on the planet, right?
You sure do. Oh my God, what a delight. What a delight to talk to them. Yeah.
I love them.
Absolutely.
They are the thing that gets me up every day. And, so when you take a look at what you and I were talking about, my chart, I don't see what I do as work. No. I mean, I clearly put in a lot of hours and are excited about what we're creating. And there are two things I don't see myself stopping. This and playing ping pong. Those two things.
I want to match. I have to say, too, is you're Capricorn, too, and what you're doing is you're showing how beautifully you can evolve an archetype. Because the thing about the parent archetype of Capricorn or the leader archetype of Capricorn is that they forget the joy and they forget the beauty. And it's like that is the call. And I really hear that. I mean, you're playing ping pong, you're in joy. I can hear that.
Oh, I'm so in joy. I'm so in joy. I want to keep playing. I'm even going to the chiropractor, Dr. Kaufman, so I can keep playing. There you go. Jen, thank you for today. One last thing. I would love to know your personal message, and please give out your website. How can people get some of the things you're giving away? And thank you for all that you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. So again, you can get a hold of me at jennkosh.com, and that's JENNKOSH.com. And I want people to understand is that, we have, once we get this knowledge, once we have this deeper awareness of ourself as a soul on this evolutionary, revolutionary path for love, we're not limited by, that one sign or even that map. Is that we get to choose the types of experiences that we want to have. But the important piece to remember is that when you have that knowledge, it can turn into wisdom and compassion for ourselves and our loved ones. And so that we're able to, we're not directly teaching, we're at least modeling what it is that we came here to do and how we came here to love. So that's what I'd like to end with today.
Awesome. Jen Kosh, everybody. I'm Dr. Pat. Mr. Benny, he did a great job hitting all the buttons.
Thank you
And
all.
again, how can people schedule a session with you and get their own relationship map? For those folks that couldn't get into the show today, what's the best way? Contact you, website?
Absolutely, the website. There's Astrology, a section, a tab on the homepage is called Love Maps. And I did put on offer on for, Dr. Pat's listeners it's almost 40% off of a Love Map session. So, and that's up there for whenever, it's up. So, take advantage of that offer for like less than $100. And it's Canadian. I'm up here in Canada. So if you're listening, yes, so it's a really good deal. So,
it is a great deal.
Yeah, it is a great deal. So, and just to have that hour where we can talk about what it is and how you're wanting to move forward, in love, for love.
I love it. And the other thing, though, too, we're talking about is, listen, tell your friends, because if you're in a relationship, might as well get them both done. Or maybe if you're in like a bigger relationship, more than one. There you go.
Absolutely. I do love map for couples as well. So that's on this list as well. Yeah.
Oh, that now we're getting fired up here. All right. Well, maybe when Jen comes back, we're going to have to talk a little bit about that. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Benny. Thank you both. All right, everybody. We're going to take a shorty, another hour on Transformation Talk Radio coming up next. We'll see you next time.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.